Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Gopijana Vallabha Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Jaya. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra Maya, Natha, Jagannatha. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Yogadharma Shila Harinam Sankirtana ki, Shila Prabhupada ki, Samveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, the characteristics of King Puranjana, text number 12. Nasadu mene tasarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamano so tasya tasyopapattaye. Nasadu mene tasarva Bhutale yavati puraha kaman kamayamanoso tasya tasyopapattaye. Nasadu meneta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasya tasyopapattaye. Any Matajis? Na, never. Sadhu, good. Mene, thought. Ta, them. Sarva, all. Bhutale, on this earth. Yavati, all kinds of. Puraha, residential houses. Kaman, objects for sense enjoyment. Kamaya manaha, desiring. So that king, tasya his, tasya his, upapattaye for obtaining. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Puranjana had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Purport. Srila Vidyapati, a great Vaishnava poet, has sung Tatala Saikate Varibindu Sama Sutamita Ramani Samaje. Material sense gratification with society, friendship, and love is herein compared to a drop of water falling on a desert. A desert requires oceans of water to satisfy it. And if only a drop of water is supplied, what is its use? Similarly, the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality Godhead, who, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is Anandamayo Bhyasat, full of enjoyment. Being part and parcel of the Supreme Personality Godhead, the living entity is also seeking complete enjoyment. However, complete enjoyment cannot be achieved separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his wanderings in the different species of life, the living entity may taste some type of enjoyment in one body or another, but full enjoyment of the senses cannot be obtained in any material body. Thus, Puranjana, the living entity, wanders in different types of body, but everywhere meets frustration in his attempt to enjoy. In other words, the spiritual spark covered by matter cannot fully enjoy the senses in any circumstance in material life. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. A deer may become absorbed in the musical sounds vibrated by the hunter, but the result is that it loses its life. Similarly, a fish is very expert in gratifying its tongue, but when it eats the bait offered by the fisherman, it loses its life. Even the elephant, who is so strong, is captured and loses its independence while satisfying its genitals with a female elephant. In each and every species of life, the living entity gets a body to satisfy various senses, but he cannot enjoy all his senses at one time. In the human form of life, he gets an opportunity to enjoy all his senses pervertedly. But the result is that he becomes so harassed in his attempted sense gratification that he ultimately becomes morose. As he tries to satisfy his senses more and more, he becomes more and more entangled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurasve Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangulangaite girim yatkrapaha tamaham mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of His Grace Anand Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas so that can glorify the Lord for the purification of my heart. So here Puranjan Upakyan is being mentioned. So we are seeing in this particular section how the Narada Muni is teaching here. So actually after the king Prachinabarhishad, he has sent his children for austerities. So Narada Muni also wanted to help King Prachinabarhishad so that he also gets benefited, because King Prachinabarhishad, he was so much engaged in karma kanda, killing of so many animals, and because of that he was getting entangled. But because he was connected with Prachetas and then previously Dhruv Maharaj, in that family lineage he comes. So that's why Narada Muni wants to show his mercy to King Puranjan. So here, through this allegorical story of King Puranjan, through that story he is trying to enlighten King Prachinabarhishad. Because if he directly instructs the king may not be in a mood to accept. But through the medium of the story, he's trying to enlighten him. So here it is being mentioned, King Puranjan, he has unlimited material desires, unlimited desires for sense gratification. And to satisfy that, he is traveling all over the world. But still he is not satisfied. Unfortunately, there is insufficiency wherever he went. So there is a story of one person. Actually, when he dies, he tells his son that no, he kept a treasure, but actually he doesn't know where is the treasure. The son doesn't know where is the treasure. So the son actually starts searching for the treasure of his father everywhere in the town. So, but unfortunately he doesn't get. Finally, after many years, his son also dies. So when the son dies, they dig a ditch in his own house to bury him. So that time actually they find the treasure. So same way, living entity is trying to search for pleasure, happiness, the sense objects of this world. Bahirardha manina. His consciousness is always oriented towards sense gratification, to get enjoyment by traveling here and there in sense gratification through the sense objects of this world. But unfortunately, even though he may try to get varieties of sense gratification, that will never satisfy him. So what is the true treasure which will satisfy us? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sabu Koinai Shavanadi Shuddha Chitta Karayodai. The treasure which the soul is hankering for is actually in our heart. It's not outside. So the treasure is love of Godhead. And how can we get that treasure? By the process of hearing and chanting, we can revive that treasure, or we can receive that treasure. So now we have forgotten it, because the living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Okay. Yata tarormula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashaka pranopahara yachendriyanam tataiva sarvarhanam achyuteja. So only when you water the root of the tree, the branches, leaves, everything gets watered. Only when you feed the stomach, the hands, legs, everything gets nourished. So same way, when you satisfy Krishna, who is the cause of all causes, who is the root of everything, then only will be satisfied. So if you individually try to water the branch or leaves, they will never get nourished. Only some dust may go away, right, which is covering that leaves. But only it will be nourished by watering the root. So this principle we have forgotten. We are trying to satisfy ourselves through various ways and means, but it will never satisfy, because the soul's nature is to serve Krishna. So just like a fish in the water is happy, but the same fish outside water, no matter what you give, you may give him AC and best of the foodstuffs, cakes, and everything, mobile, still it will not be satisfied, because it is not its constitutional position. The natural position of the fish is to be in the water. There it gets nourished and satisfied. So same way, the soul's nature is to serve Krishna. That's its constitutional nature. That cannot be changed. That's its dharma. Just like the sugar is sweet, the salt is salty. That's the dharma of sugar or salt. That cannot be changed. Same way, the dharma of soul is to serve Krishna. That we should realize. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. So Prabhupada gives the example, just like a screw in a machine. As long as it is connected to the machine, it is of value. But if you remove the screw, then it is of no value. Then it is thrown in dustbin, right? So in this world, people are trying to get happiness, material happiness, through society, friendship, love, all this. But here it's mentioned, it's like a drop of water falling on a desert. Now if somebody is in desert, then obviously he'll be hankering for water, right? So material happiness is like a big advertisement. Somebody is desert, suppose there is advertisement, very soon there will be water. So everybody will be very eager. Oh, when it when it will come. So everybody is very eager. No, when will that helicopter come? So but one fine day, when they are eagerly waiting, it comes, and somebody comes and just brings one bottle, and then he is opening, the people there are opening their mouth for drinking, and he puts one drop of water on their tongue. There's no water. So material happiness is like that. So much of advertisement and so much of what you call bombardment, but ultimately the happiness you get is actually very, very insignificant. Okay. Also we hear about the 20 paisa circus. Like everybody is attracted by circus, so there is a big line where everybody want to see, but only one person is allowed. So then When the first fellow enters, actually he wants to see where is the circus, and you know, but then one tall fellow comes. So you want a circus? So he takes a whip and beats him left and right. So he gets thoroughly beaten up, and then when he comes out, everybody is eager to know uh, how was the circus. So he's, but to hide the reality, he says, "Oh, it's very nice. All of you have to experience it. I cannot explain in words. You all have to experience yourself." So then everybody goes. So in material world, it is like that only. You ask anyone, "How are you?" They'll say, "Oh, I am very happy." Uh, but they have so many diseases, or they themselves are undergoing so many problems. Others can see also. Uh, that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita wrote that article. Smiling faces, crying hearts. So although people may appear to smile and all, but actually their hearts are crying. Crying for what? Crying for Krishna. Because they are not feeding their soul with Krishna consciousness. That's why they are dissatisfied. They are trying to get happiness in different ways and means, but that is never going to be satisfied with the sense objects of this world. Uh, which is actually, the sense gratification is completely insignificant. Hmm? Like a drop of water falling on the desert. Hmm? It's compared like that. So, and why the living entity wants it? Because it's nature. Hmm? Living entity is a personality. Anandamayo abhyasad. So it is full of enjoyment. It is seeking pleasure. Hmm? So Krishna also seeks pleasure. So we are part and parcel. So we also seek pleasure. But then we seek pleasure in, we are trying to seek that pleasure in the sense objects of this world, which are temporary and illusory. So that's why it is not satisfying the soul. Okay. Uh, so in this way, here it's mentioned, the living entity tries to migrate in various species of life, trying to get that happiness. But ultimately, it only leads to frustration. Hmm. Although he may try to enjoy in various ways and means. So here the example is given of, various examples are given of various animals, how they actually get distracted, or how they get uh, damaged, or uh, got how they get caught because of their attachment to various sense objects of this world. So here the example is given of a deer. So when a deer uh, is attracted by the sound vibration made by the hunter, nice sound vibration. So it's mentioned the deer gets absorbed in it and completely forgets everything else of this world. So that time the deer is caught. Hmm? Same way the fish is caught by the tongue. So the bait is hanged, and the fish thinks, oh, it is so something attractive. So then the fish comes to taste it. So once it catches it, the fisherman pulls the bait. So then it is caught. Hmm. Actually, for the fish, the food is everywhere. But foolishly it thinks that this is something new. Let me taste it. Hmm. Same way the elephant. So it is said that to catch the male elephants, how the people, hunters, what they do, they make a she elephant just touch it, and then it goes ahead. So, and in the front they make some ditch, and which is covered by dry leaves. So the she elephant knows that there is a ditch and it goes other side, but the he elephant comes running and falls in the ditch. So here Prabhupada is saying, in this way, in various species of life, living entities are trying to satisfy different senses, their nose or tongue or ears, whatever. But still, they are not satisfied and they are getting caught by those. Right? Passion Fruit showed one video also last time. Monkey, how the hunter catches. No, they put some nuts in some box kind of thing where it puts its hand, but then if it wants, it can actually just come out. But because it is attached to those nuts, no, it wants it, but it is not able to come out. Right? It is because it is attached to that sense gratification. Right? So we are attached to the material attachments of this world. So I think Janak Maharaj or somebody asked Ashtavakra Muni how to come out of material attachments. So Ashtavakra Muni goes and embraces one tree and tells, no, please remove it, no, please remove me. No. Then he says, hey, you are only holding and you are saying, please remove. So we are the ones who are actually becoming attached to the sense objects of this world. Okay. So here Prabhupada is giving a warning that actually in other species of life, for them only one of the senses is strong, like the deer ears, for the fish the tongue. Prabhupada is saying the human form of life, he gets an opportunity to enjoy all his senses. Means he may become attached through any of the senses and become entangled. So it is more dangerous in human form of life. No, if one doesn't understand the goal of life, actually he may become more entangled than even the other species. So which makes him morose. So we see that the modern man is trying to get enjoyment through various ways and means. Right? Ultimately, through material advancement, he wants to become happy. But we see the most advanced country like US, we see that still they are not happy. How do we know that they are not happy? They may say that no, somebody may say, see, they have so much material advancement, science and technology. So it may appear that they are happy. But actually they are not happy because the number of crimes in countries like US is more than India. Although US has only 1/6 population of India. So why people do crimes? When they are not happy, when they are morose, when they are dissatisfied. If they are satisfied, why they will do crime? Right? Right? So the hippies, Prabhupada used to say, the hippies had everything. They had money, they had everything. But still, why they left their home? They were roaming on the streets, taking drugs, into all kinds of sinful activities. Right? Because although they had everything in their life, still that could not satisfy their souls. Right? So the famous example of cage and the bird, that lady, the old lady, we know, she takes care of the cage very nicely, every day cleaning the cage. But she doesn't feed the bird. Right? So same way, people in this world are trying to feed their body, take care of the body or the mind. But they are not taking care of the soul. The needs of the soul are not provided. Because the soul has a need. What is that? To love and serve Krishna. So when that need is not fulfilled, then that transforms to lust, greed, anger, all these things. So people in this world actually have spiritual hunger. Okay? There is material hunger, there is spiritual hunger. So because of spiritual hunger, actually there is so much dissatisfaction because that is not being fulfilled. So people are trying to do charity, food for life, so different things people want to give. So that is satisfying the body, right? But the soul is not satisfied until they serve Krishna. Okay. So, but how do we understand the needs of the soul? Is when we are dissatisfied and that manifests as lust, greed, anger, all these things. So we see in this world, all the sinful activities are because of the dissatisfaction of the heart, because they have lust, greed, anger, all this. And why the senses are getting pulled for sense gratification is because of this only, right? The contaminated mind, which is filled with lust, greed, anger, pride, this is pulling the senses for sense gratification, right? So we have to purify this contaminated mind by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we chant Hare Krishna, actually our mind and senses get purified, this contaminated mind and senses. So the senses are compared to serpents with the poison of sense gratification. So, but when somebody starts engaging in devotional service, this venom is removed from those serpents, means the senses. That's enjoying mentality is removed. So when the fangs of the snake are removed, then it cannot harm, right? So same way when the senses are removed, when the senses are removed from the sense gratification mentality, then it can engage properly in the service of the Lord. It will not be attracted by the sense objects of this world. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada has kindly given us this opportunity to engage the senses and mind. Atashri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahamindre Sevon Munkohi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyada. So our senses have to be engaged in the service of the Lord and Master of the senses, who is Hrishikesha. So when we engage our senses and mind in His service, okay, because He is the Lord and Master, He will control and purify the senses. Okay, then they will be controlled. We are artificially trying to control through various ways and means, but it is not possible. Only Krishna can control this mind and senses. Okay, so that's why we need to engage in the service of the Lord. And actually, as long as we have a contaminated mind, we should understand that we cannot be satisfied, because our mind pulls us for sense gratification in various directions, right? So it's a very dangerous, diseased condition of life, Prabhupada says. To have lust, greed, anger, all this, one should consider that it is a diseased condition of life. So generally, if you get cancer, COVID, then we think, okay, it's a serious disease, and we are worried about it, and we want to take some treatment, right? But then when we have lust, greed, all this, we are not so much worried. Okay. So what's the problem? Right? We are not so much worried about it. But actually, it can create so much problem for us and also others. Like Hitler, he had envy for the Jews, right? So because he had envy, what he did, he killed thousands of Jews, right? But only if he had no envy, right, he could have done so much good for the humanity. Same way Ravan had lust. So because of his lust, we see that he destroyed himself, all his family members, and the whole Lanka also got destroyed. So much problem he created, right? So these impurities actually unnecessary trouble us. They are like viruses in our mind. But unfortunately, we are not so serious or worried about it. But a sadhaka should be really worried. To the degree we have this anarthas, actually to that degree we should be in anxiety. Because at any time they can attack. Like a serpent with poison, right? You can't say you keep them in the room and say, no problem. Right? Anytime they can bite. From anywhere they can come, right? Anytime they can attack. So same way, lust, greed, anger, as long as they are there, uh, we should understand any time they can attack, right? Whether you are conscious or unconscious or whatever situation, it's not that it will give a notice, no, after 1 hour, no, we are going to attack you. No, right? In any situation they can attack, right? So that's why a sadhaka should be very alert, and he should have spiritual anxiety, anxiety that okay, I have to be purified, I am not yet purified, right? So just like when people got COVID, they were very worried and took all the precautions, make sure that take all the tablets and get recovered, right? So but the same kind of urgency is not there. That's why we are continuing this cycle of birth and death. Actually, it is more dangerous than all the diseases, because those diseases may only destroy us in this life, right? Partly or fully. But these diseases have been actually destroying us life after life, right? Because of these only we are taking the cycle of birth and death again and again, right? This is the root cause of actually all diseases also. Yeah, because we have lust, greed, anger, we are doing sense gratification, that's why we get disease, right? But ultimately, if you get purified, you go to spiritual world, no more disease. So the root cause of all diseases is this disease only, lust, greed, anger. But they are giving solution for all external diseases, but they don't know the solution for the root cause of all diseases. So Prabhupada is the spiritual doctor. Uh, Actually, he gave medicines for even the most degraded personalities, like the hippies, right? So we should take advantage and come out of this diseased condition of life. So also in this, we are celebrating Julan Yatra, this 5 days. So we see in Vrindavan also, in every temple they celebrate this Julan Yatra. So in the rainy season, actually, Mother Nature produces lot of flowers. So devotees want to actually serve the Lord to the best of their capacity. So in Vrindavan, all the Vrajavasis, they act for the pleasure of Krishna. Not only the Vrajavasis, but each and every one, even the trees want to serve Krishna. They want to give the best of flowers to please Krishna. So, uh, just like children like to swing, right? We see whenever in any playground, you see children with great eagerness swinging, taking, laughing, and taking great pleasure, right, in singing, swinging. So, same way, Krishna, obviously, he is a person, so he also likes to swing. So, but we get the opportunity to serve the Lord by these various festivals in decorating and swinging. So, uh, so, so just like yeah. So in this, we see Radha and Krishna kept in the Julan and we pull. So sometimes it is said that Srimati Radharani, uh, it's not that always she only wants to be with Krishna. She also requests other gopis also to sit. And sometimes if Krishna says that I want to sit with some particular gopi, so Srimati Radharani goes and requests that gopi to sit with Krishna. And I heard in one lecture that in case if that gopi doesn't come, then Radharani actually bows down to her and begs her, "No, please come and sit with Krishna, because Krishna wants." Uh, so we can see how Srimati Radharani is completely non-envious, and they are only acting for the pleasure of Krishna. So just like we decorate the Julan and we keep their lordships, so same way our heart also has to be decorated with devotional qualities like humility or tolerance and all these qualities, then the Lord will be willing to reside in our heart. But if our heart is filled with lust, greed, anger, uh, so then the Lord will not be willing to sit, right? So if you call some guest and then if you make him, if the place is very dirty, filled with all kinds of dust, then the guest would not be comfortable to sit in that place, right? But if the place is very clean, nice, then the guest would like to sit there. So same way our heart is the sitting place of the Lord, of the Lordship, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. But then if our heart is contaminated by all this lust, greed, anger, then they will not be willing to sit there, right? So we should understand that I have to purify this, contaminations. I have to remove these contaminations. Then only their lordships would be willing to sit in my heart. So that is the goal of all the devotees. When we actually pull the swing, Julan, we are requesting the Lord, oh Lord, please come, and we are inviting the Lord, please reside in my heart. But will the Lord reside? It depends on the purity of the heart, the state of your consciousness. So if you have contaminated consciousness, then Lord will not be happy to reside there. Hmm? So, so we have to take this process given by Srila Prabhupada seriously and actually purify our hearts so that we can uh, actually invite the Lord to reside in our heart. Thank you very much. Grace Anand, would you like to add or correct something? Thanks. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद गौरव भक्तवृंद की जय.